talk about it himself as they join us.
Gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast. We've got Rude Awakening and we've got Meadowhawk. Oh, Meadowhawk, what is the occasion, sir? For what is that? That's a sparkler and
I made it. I had a blue screen about 10 seconds ago. It was a disaster. Party disaster.
Oh no.
But we are here. Papa Rude is a proud father. We are at a happy unbanning day. He's welcoming his lost sons back into the fold. So we're here to celebrate. It's gonna be good.
Okay, that's it says happy unbanning. I guess you can't buy happy unbanning at the dollar store.
No, you have to Etsy that kind of stuff.
Oh man.
All right, now Rude, you're over there shaking your head.
Yeah.
Now, I have to try to make this a little bit serious. You have your 3 players back now. Do you feel that you guys can start really contending again, or do you think you're a little bit way off?
We're a little bit ways off right now. The players they're just coming back. We had to practice with the backups. We're shuffling things around. We're just trying to get ready. And try to get the train going full speed by the second half of the season, by the second round robin. So this next upcoming few matches are going to be extremely unpredictable for us.
All right, so do this, and it's the 1 to 100% scale. Where would you rank yourself right now?
8.
Oh,
out of 100.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
No confidence there.
No, or that just says that they see a lot of growth potential. All right.
It's also one way to look at it. Now, Meadowhawk, your team is on track to being 0-7 if you're not too careful. Have you guys kind of been working on things? We know that we heard Andy calling during one of your last matches. Are you guys trying to change it up a little bit, or what's the deal with your team right now?
Yeah. If Rude's at an 8, we're definitely at about a 5, maybe a 4. But that was one of the changes we made over the weekend. Fosta stepped back from the calling role because we needed to change something. So Andy's kind of is going to try to take over calling. Hopefully we're going to get some input from Warbander and Arklet. Obviously they're very important because they need to translate. And if we can have a caller that can speak both languages, it'll definitely increase the speed of our rotates and important communication. But other than that, we're just hoping that we can catch top tier while they're still readjusting, because we kind of need these points to get out of the basement.
All right. Well, I think that about does it. Just like the first face-off, I like to keep this one short just because I want to see you 2 play already. Rude, do you have any final thoughts for 07 or Meadowhawk?
Meadowhawk, I wish you good luck. So,
all right.
See you guys on the battlefield.
All right, Meadowhawk, anything for Rude and top tier?
Well, we got to sing a song, so we're going to go Happy Unbanning Day, top tier. Happy Unbanning Day, top tier. Happy Unbanning Day, dear Muriel, Delph, and Exit. But not Pompous, he's an idiot.
Yay!
I can't even keep a straight face right now.
Yay! That was wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Meadowhawk, everyone, from 07. Clap, clap, clap. All right. As always, that was beautiful for Meadowhawk. Rude is a good sport. Thank you so much. And I think that's a great way to get into this match. Both teams trying to tell us, you know what, we've got it bad. No, if you think you've got it bad, we've got it worse.
Yeah, well, like I said, this was a vital match for both of them just because right now it's top tier on 3 points and 07 on 0 points. So they need to get something going. Now, neither of them scream confidence, which is kind of, it's kind of a funny mix between the first match and the second match. We have 2 captains who are very confident in their team despite having rough starts and being new in the Gold League. The league hasn't quite killed their soul yet, as you will, where these 2 look like they've been through the washing machine a few times.
They both Rude and Meadowhawk have been in this league long enough to the point where they can have a little bit of humor about the whole thing, especially when they're not doing well. You have to be able to cope with it, right? If you're going to lose from time to time, or half the season, you got to learn to be okay with that. If you can't learn to be okay with that, your team's going to fall apart. And that's where all the other teams that we don't talk about are. They're the ones who lost confidence and couldn't keep it together. 07 and top tier, the reason that they can stay together is because people like Rude, right? It doesn't matter if you're doing poorly. He's always staying positive, looking for improvement, but he's going to be honest. He's not going to say we're at the top of our game to anyone. He's not going to go out there and lie about it. He's going to be like, we're not doing well. And he's going to expect his entire team to turn that around because they want to hear Rude say, we're doing well. That's what they want. They want to win.
Yeah, and you got to keep fighting for it. He's trying to keep them motivated.
Yeah.
And looking at the lineups as they come in here, 2 IS-7s, 3 5As, a Batchat, and a T100 for the offense of top tier. 07 on the other hand, an IS-7, 4 5As, and 2 Batchats. Both FC Dynamo and Colsoid playing the Batchats. Now looking at the lineup for top tier, a T100. What do you make of that?
T100? I like it. Good little scout.
We haven't seen it too much on Prokhorovka.
We've seen it once or twice, I believe. But you're right, also quite a rare choice. And very often we'll see it in passive positions more often than active scouting. The active scouting positions are expected to be taken by tanks like Delth. But Muriel could go for an opener based on his spawn. As we are seeing right now, he had the most effective position in order to make a nice little mid-run and spot every tank on his way through. But 07...
Both teams going very heavy on Prok.
Yeah, and also going right towards the middle. Makos, Warbander, FC Dynamo's making his way up there. And he actually almost everything. Shots out towards Muriel. Not much spotting, actually. Not much at all. And that's going to be huge, as this looks like it could be... Oh, is this really? Are we about to see an up-and-over brawl? No way. You've got to be kidding me. This isn't what... No.
This isn't 2015, guys.
Guys, it's been 2 years. Guys, it is. It's a mid-fight. First shot's going into Foster for 451. One into Rude Awakening, 453. So on either side, there's been a little bit of bloodying, but it's going slightly in the favor of top tier for now. This is purely a game of who can fire well when there's a slight defilade. Muriel getting focused out a little bit on the west side.
Is caught out on the 0 line, or on the 1 line right now. He goes down, and now it's going to open up the 1 line for top tier, and they may be able to get some shots into the tanks of 07 as they're already down 3,000 HP.
Yep, this is a focus fire game, guys. You have to keep up your focus fire, have to keep landing your shells. And there we go. Foster is focused out of the fight. Andy Pans looks like he could be the second focus. Meantime, on the west side, FC Dynamo is taking on a Batchat that looks like it's Delth. Muriel is there to try and support. That's going to be it. In the middle, it is over. Second tank goes down, and the third Arclet is dead. An ammo rack, it looks like, on to... two tanks from top tier are down now again. And now Warbender is the only tank remaining on the side of 07. Top tier has effectively torn apart 07 in the first battle.
Simple, not elegant.
Nope, not even close.
That is like the definition of taking a battling ram just to a door and just knocking it down.
I've seen this happen actually very serious battles, and well, it can work. Usually there's a little bit more aggression or an up and over, as it were. But I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. That worked, and they won with 4K hit points left. That's more than a lot of other battles.
Only 2 tanks down. You know, like we said earlier, when you go for those sort of engagements, you're going to take losses. You are going to lose HP, but you just need, that's just the result of good focus fire by both teams, and just top tier. The trades early were a little bit sloppy, but they managed to get the first couple of picks. And the main thing that I think turned that was the 1-line fight. It was the 1 Batchat of Colsoid versus the Batchat and T100 from top tier. You see it in the top of the screen there. You see Muriel pushing down in front of Delth, and there's Colsoid, and they end up winning that fight. And what that does is that sets a timer for 07. That says, hey, that Batchat's going to be loaded, and they're going to have shots in the back of our tanks, so we have to do something. And they didn't. And if they had just sat there any longer and let that Batchat work, all of a sudden that could have just been even worse for 07, and it wouldn't have even needed top tier to make that push over.
Yeah, I think if we'd seen a slightly different play from 07, this could have gone differently, but they decided to keep their Batchats out of an engagement for way too long. And looking at this damage, Warbander putting up top damage, even though his team...
And he's always been a heavy tank player, so playing the I-7 there, very at home on that ridge, did pretty good. Jotaro Jackie, the top fantasy point scorer so far this season for top tier, putting up 84 fantasy points, 3k damage, and 3 kills, a very solid opening round. Rude Awakening having a very strong game as well. Kako and Muriel actually putting up 86 fantasy points in that light tank. Not bad. This all the spotting damage from the Batchat and getting the shots in the back.
And he did some damage himself. That wasn't that bad.
Exactly. Yeah. So pretty solid in that T100. Then on the second page here, nothing that really sticks out?
Well, yes,
not really
Fosta.
able to get into the fight.
No damage, I think, is the big one right there.
Yeah, and keep in mind, you know, he's also was the caller on the team, and callers typically, not to knock on the callers out there, myself included, but we're not typically the strongest player in a team.
I think, though, that Meadow had mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, he mentioned in the interview that Foster might be stepping away from calling.
Yeah, so he can focus on his play a little bit more, but there's still, you know, it's not just something where you just flip it off overnight and all of a sudden it's just 100% focused on play. So definitely something to keep an eye on going forward. Because there are some players sitting on the bench for F7 that or A7 that could step in if need be.
Yeah, so we are getting ready now. Just 10 seconds left until the next battle. Let's take a look at the lineups as we're about to get into the battle number 2 on Prohorovka. Now, lineups, it looks like we're going to have some IS-7s, 3 5As, a Bat Chat, and a T100 on the side of top tier. 07 bringing a 113, 4 5As, and 2 Bat Chats. So looking at a rather heavy lineup from both sides. Rox, are we looking at having another brawl in the middle of the map?
That's what it says to me, except they brought 2 Bat Chats this time so they could win the one-line fight. But once again, maybe nothing elegant's going to come out here, and we'll see what happens. However, remember, Muriel has the passive ability, so if he gets into a good position early, he can spot the Bat Chats and maybe change it up there.
We shall see FC Dynamo going off to the east. They'll pay attention to that. And the main body of 07 is not going to the mid. They're actually going to go west side. And what's going to be important here is Muriel and Delth. Muriel is currently taking an aggressive route. He's noticed there's nothing at all almost on this side of the map. And he may go passive. If he does, it'll be the right choice. He just doesn't know it yet. And there we go. Nice approach. Gets into the low ground, approaches from the south. Passive in a bush. Muriel is in a perfect position in order to spot things coming down the one line. Here's the trick. 07 sees stuff like this coming. They are going to pay a little bit by taking damage. Major Issues taking some hits. Everything in the mid from top tier spotted. But what happens now is everything from 07 has avoided getting spotted out on the one line and instead is now focusing on that middle section. At the same time, Colosoid, FC Dynamo, those 2 guys are going to be moving around to flank and pressure the mid. Muriel will be counter-flanking from the opposite side.
And he's going to run straight into Arclet, though, so keep an eye on that because he has one Bat Chat supporting him, but this T100 may struggle against this 5A even at close range. And Arclet actually fizzes out on the tracks with that heat shell.
Stopped him cold, though.
You know, Delph trying to get into the fight, trying to get some more damage off. Arclet's still alive, angling what he can, bouncing a lot of shots. Another penetration from Delph coming out there is going to track him. Muriel picks up the kill, and now it's going to open up the map. Now keep an eye in the middle here. Now that's done because top tier, they're going to go in hot now that they know they have full map control, and Exits is just going to go up and over. Jodo's going to come behind him.
Yep, they recognize the flank is coming in. Forward is the best direction. Pick your target, focus on it. It's going to be Major Issues first. Second, where are you going to go? Warband or Andy Pans? We've got a split fire already. Needs to focus up for top tier to win here. They're going to focus on Andy. Good.
So then keep an eye on the Bat Chats. Delph is going to come in. He's still not loaded, but he's trying to keep an eye on FC Dynamo so he can clip him out and take him as his own responsibility. Focus fire is starting to dwindle out here. Tanks are dropping for both teams. Only 4 alive. HP still in favor of top tier. They do take down Makos. Looks like they're going to try to go for FC Dynamo next. Warband trying to get in the way, sip up some shots.
But Colosoid shows up and he is loaded right behind everything. He's got shots into Delth, Joe Jackie, Lobtov, whoever he wants.
Too much HP, Randall, too much HP.
Yeah, but he does show up dangerously, you know, scary, out of nowhere.
Great positioning, but 30 seconds too late.
Yeah, a little bit too late, yeah. And Dynamo's gonna run. Looks like the chase is on. Tracked out in the open is FC Dynamo. One more should finish him off.
And Muriel is just on the track of FC Dynamo here, lines up the shot and sets the fire to pick up the kill, and that is going to be a 2-0 victory in favor of top tier.
Nice.
So extending their lead. 07 still struggling.
And what you have to pay attention to is top tier really was just being aggressive. They understood that just be aggressive. 07's not at a place where they're going to be able to really push back at you.
Yep. Now, before we get into the post-battle stats, we do have a score from the offline matches. It was Elevate 5-1 over Aquatic M60s, and then it was Eclipse taking down Dare Rising 5-2. So 2 very strong games. Dare Rising going to slip up from first place and actually be tied with Eclipse now in that duel for second place. Remember, the 1 and 2 get an automatic bye to the finals and skip the rest of the online playoffs.
That's
so,
why you want to be first and second.
Yeah.
Yep. Also seeding.
Yeah, seeding also as well, so definitely keep an eye on it. And now we're going to get into the replay here. Arclet going down. And from that point on, you notice they have one line control, so they have these heavy tanks bottled up. And I say it time and time again, when you're surrounded, take all your tanks and go. And when they recognized the Batchats were behind them and they were left in an awkward spot, they just picked up all their tanks and they went. And props off to Exits, even though he got focused out early. He realized, look, we just need to make this happen. We need to go. And just drove over. And look at this, Muriel making that T100 work. Welcome back to the league. 3,000 damage, 4 kills, 133 fantasy points. Wow.
Yep. See, that's what happens when you get the T100 in the right spot. I think we still underestimate it a little bit because the DPM isn't that bad.
Yep, and in the next patch, it's getting buffed again as well. So, you know, light tanks, you know, starting to be prevalent in League. And then on the second page here, Delph and Exits struggling. But once again, props off to Exits. Realized, look, I'm going to be the first one there. Everyone needs to catch up. But I'm going to eat that opening volley, pushed in, ate the shots, and allowed the rest of his team to push in around him and win that brawl.
Absolutely, there we go. So, and just notice right there, Arclet Major, Andy Pan's Warbender, all at the bottom there with damage. That's top tier, showing you they focused these tanks out, completely annihilated them. Very, very well played. So now we're going to move on to Himmelsdorf, where starting on the defending side is going to be top tier. And, well, that means 07's going to have to figure out the attack. Now, based on what we've seen already from defense, offense, doesn't matter from top tier, some bit of aggression. Are you thinking we'll see something like that again, or should top tier be slowing it down?
Knowing Rude, I don't think they'll be sitting still anytime soon. That's something I do love about Rude's calling style just in general, is he does understand when he needs to slow it down a little bit, but he's always looking if there's something he can do to take the advantage of their opponent, whether it's their positioning or whatnot. You'll very, very rarely see him say, this is where we're going to sit, and this is where we'll be happy.
Yeah, passive play and sloth are not exactly attributes that you can apply.
Yeah, and you have to look at all the teams that Rude has called for. The original top-tier team was known for almost borderline reckless aggression at some point.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, they were one of the teams that pioneered going up and over after Simp. They, especially with the RU-251s and other stuff, they were fine taking those brawls. And then he went on to Simp, a team that went to the grand finals several times. And he was on that team once, and they did pretty well there. And then now back on top tier, and top tier since coming back have been a very, very strong team.
All right, now as we get into game, looking at some of the opening moves, this is JoJo Jackie heading out to the northwest.
Now look at these lineups. 07, a Mouse, 35As, an Object, 263, and 2 Batchats. The 263 to me screams Arclet. He's known for liking those oddball tank choices. 263 is a very powerful tank, but not one we're used to seeing. Now, top tier on the other hand, 2 Mice, Type 5, 2 IS-7s, a 113, and an E4.
Real quick, though, we do have a crazy move coming out of 07. We got Colosoid and FC Dynamo already up at the North Cap. And they're getting into position for possibly just a fast cap? Is that what we're looking at right now?
Possibly maybe trying to catch someone out of position with those clips?
No, I think it's going to be that fast cap pressure, as everyone else on the side of 07 is on the south side, looking north. Maybe some sniping out. As you know what, to figure out what's going on, let's take a listen with 07, see what they have to say.
It's difficult.
What is shooting our bats?
Mouse, stay here.
Is somebody at the wall?
Oh, Mouse is there. Fuck.
Just put one bat on. Don't bleed, guys. The one bat can be further back.
Один бат может просто захватывать, один сидеть в жопе, чтобы вас не пиздили.
This Mouse, can you spot? I will spot the Mouse, I guess, leaving. But it's you got these guys. You gotta stay. Make sure you can shoot this, because.
Yeah, I should be able to move up the 8.
What the Mouse?
He's lit.
There's IS-7 here.
Yeah, they're moving now. Should we move up 8?
Just get shots on this, and then Wheezies will go up the 8 line.
Хорош.
Makers don't die.
Makers don't die.
Batchats are gonna be able to get out, guys.
Okay. Do we still moving up the 8?
Hold on. Stay there to punish. I'll let them crossing back over.
The IS-7's pushing up behind me, I think.
Just back up. We'll get a bat on
Они
the
на
hill.
гору едут. They are going up the hill, I think. You gotta say,
That's
yeah,
fine. Just
he's
get the
going.
bats on hill.
Makos, can you get out?
Баты, едьте на горку.
I'm gonna try. Oh yeah, you're good,
Шли
dude.
разыграть. Они все стенку отрабатывают.
Can we play this? They have a TD. They have 2 tanks here in the TD, maybe.
Yeah, I just want to chill for a second to see if we can get damage crossing the 5 line. As long as Makos is safe. But then set up to push K1.
You can try probing K2.
Where am I going now?
Just chill on the hill. Do tank destroyer things.
You didn't take... Oh, he didn't take damage for it. This 113 didn't take any damage for it.
There we go, there we go. Hit him, please, please. IS-7, guys, come on. Nobody?
Why?
What are we
You
all
have to
waiting
be
for?
closer to shoot Major. You have to be
What
closer
are we
to
waiting
shoot
for
this
here,
guy.
guys?
Why?
Okay. Anyways, we'll set up for K1, guys.
They are
Like,
flexed
just cross
already.
again?
Just track them.
We're gonna set up for K1.
Yeah, I like the idea out of 07, but I'm kind of confused right now, Randall. You sell the team hook, line, and sinker. You spot all their tanks making that rotation, and you don't capitalize on it?
They are not in that spot, man. You could hear the comms. They're trying to get shots into tanks. They're trying to deal damage with this, and they're trying to take advantage. I was watching the IS-7 that you were hearing on comms for a minute. He bounced 4 shells off his front and sides just at range. It just didn't work. Not this time. And so 07's going to have to figure out what they want to do to salvage this. Advantage is top tier is out of the original positions that did give them some advantage on the west side. So if 07 does decide to pressure west side, they should be able to make some decent headway before they meet any considerable resistance. They can get out there for now.
Right now, the Mouse is actually really the only gun in position to deal off damage. Delth and Exits are trying to get in position, and it looks like they are in range now. But they were looking on the 3-line side, so it took them a second. And so a very small toll being paid by F7 to get over here. Only 1 shot of damage.
Yeah, 07 doing a decent job with that. And they're going to have Warbender and major issues out in the west. Nothing else is really known at this point, so... But it's enough to say, okay, this is west side aggression. Warbander's in a position where he can't rotate back to support the 1 line, not unless you give him all of the next 5 minutes to do so. This is 07 saying we are all in, dedicated to the west side, which should result in top tier kind of just shifting and moving into the west side. To me, it looks like a top tier hold from this point onward. Look at hit points, look at positions, time left. Everything says that 07's not going to have enough in order to quite push this over the finish line. And top tier should be able to respond.
Yeah, well, the backshots are re-pushing in towards this 2-cap, but I don't think they realize how many guns are still sitting here for top tier.
Yeah, FC Dynamo and looks like Colosoid are going to try to play around in the backfield.
They just got an education as they spot them all, and now they're sitting here trying to figure out what to do. Their really only play is 1 line, but their guns are not together enough to really make some progress. Maybe if they can chip down Jodo Jackie, get 2 more shots into him, they can make this work, but Warbander has been losing the trades with them so far.
Yeah, this is not going too great. Right now, this is definitely looking like it should go top tier. They've got the hold on the north. Jojo, I don't see how you get Jojo out of his current position. It's actually quite strong.
Well, the 113 does have a rather weak hatch on top, so you can get some shots through there, but at range, even with the Mouse, Warbander might find that kind of difficult. Maybe some HE shells sneak in there, but that's really your only play is you have to find a way to get him down, and once again, Jojo just making good use of the heat rounds from that 113, hitting the turret at just the right angle and getting the penetration.
And here's the aggression. FC Dynamo, Indipans, Colosoid moving up through the center courtyard. Makos looks like he's getting ready to overwatch, but as you can tell, he's looking towards the north cap right now, not quite down the same lane that Indipans and Colosoid are going. At the same time, look at this. Oghako and Rude are moving around to flank in the IS-7s. They'll be able to push in and focus on Indipans, who's actually taking on Delth right now. Delth puts 492 into him, just in time for Oghako to peek out. Shots from the rear, perfectly done. And then Rude Awakening will take his advantage. 2 shells right in for free. Now, Zitz did take himself some damage, but Delth may be loaded shortly. There he is. Nice little finisher. Colosoid moves in. says, all right, maybe we can do this, but he only has 1 shell, decides to take 1 in return, which is really not equitable, and run into the backfield. Jojo Jackie should have a shell, low roll, and Colosoid will pay a huge toll.
Yeah, but Colosoid's actually going to get in behind here. He might find some shots onto Muriel. Now he's going to choose to not make that cross. He knows he's a 1-shot, and Muriel gets spotted, so he knows he's looking towards them as Rude gets the pick onto FC Dynamo.
Yep, across the courtyard there.
This is just going out of control, and Kako picks up Colosoid finally, coming in late in that IS-7, and F7, they had one moment that they could have seized, but unlike Teal Team 6 earlier, just not seizing the opportunity. Once they had all the takes spotted to the north, they needed to move.
Real quick, we've got Delth and Zitz here, or Exits. Delth has turned himself sideways. Arclet's holding his shell because he wants to get a kill onto Exits, but Exits just not going to give it to him. And because of that, well, this is going to be over pretty soon. Arclet is not doing anything. He's just kind of given up at this point or something. Exits, moves, shot fired by Arclet. Exits fires into Delth. Oh, and then Arclet runs forward, takes crossfire, and is done. Oh, man. Top tier.
Delth was like ammo racked or something.
No.
I didn't see him fire.
Delth?
Yeah.
No, he'd fired a moment before.
Okay.
Before you'd gotten a chance to look at him. And then after that, yeah, it was just a silly situation.
Well, that is going to be a clean sweep, and the lead extended to 3-0 for top tier.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Strong defense. They did get kind of dragged around the battlefield a little bit, but the responses were perfect. Very often we see teams play the defense a little bit more conservatively, and instead of pulling all these flanks and counterattacks that you usually see, well, that you'll less often see, they'll pull a few more of those out, excuse me. And because of that, they do end up getting some better results. Yeah?
And don't worry, Delph did plenty of damage that game.
Yeah, he did? How much?
4,200.
Ah, 4,200.
So that should rack up some fantasy points. Muriel, on the other hand, despite having some strong opening games on Proc, not quite able to do as much as we see here. You know, and watch, if you see this, they pick up the kill, and at this point, you know, Exit's going to take one more shot here.
This I did not agree with. Colosoid going out in the open like that to put 1 shell that ended up not connecting.
No, I agree, but he didn't have too many options and places to go because top tier were behind them as well, so it kind of didn't leave him with a whole lot of options. And looking at the fantasy points here, with all that damage, 91 fantasy points out of Delph. Major issues, 46 fantasy points, 3,400 damage, so not bad there despite being on the losing team, did what he could. And then the 263 Makos, 2,250 fantasy points. Rude, rather strong showing out of him in the heavy tank. He's been playing pretty much nothing but heavy tanks tonight and doing pretty solid in them.
That's what he's known for.
Yep, and then on the second page here, nothing that really sticks out as vital or crucial. Muriel did get 1 kill in there, but that's really all about it. 2 shots of damage, more or less, so nothing too crazy.
I think what we really need to be looking at is throughout these battles so far, it's been top tier showing us how to take tempo and aggression and to kind of lead the way, to force your opponent to do things. And we've been seeing 07 attempt to deal with that. You see that they're going for it, but that because they're having to react, it's that much harder to react effectively, and they're not quite making it in that sense. The focus fire is there from top tier, the small skirmish kind of mechanics and kind of rules are being followed more closely by top tier. They seem to kind of understand their play style and what they're going for and how to kind of really fill that out. 07, I'm getting a bit of an identity kind of crisis deal from them. It seems like they have some ideas of what they want to do, but I don't feel like everyone else is practiced maybe or trained for it. Something's missing for 07.
We'll get to that in a second after we go over the lineups here. Top tier coming in with 250Bs, an IS-7, 2 mice, 5A, and a bat chat. 07 on their hand, a 50B, an IS-4, a Type 5, 2 5As, an E3, and an E4. Now, what I wonder might be part of it is, you know, there is that divide in the team between English and non-English speakers.
That was mentioned. Meadowhawk did bring that up.
The players playing from Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
You have to wonder if maybe part of it is they're used to a different meta, different style, playing both in Europe and the RU League, and they have different ideas about how things are supposed to be done, and then the rest of the players on 07 are very used to the NA meta, which does have subtle differences. So maybe when they're trying to figure out strats, they don't quite see the see the things the same way, and when the callers try to explain it, they hear the literal translation, but they don't quite understand the whole philosophy as you were.
Yeah, that's the language barrier right there. We'll have to see. As right now, it is an aggressive 07 opening. We can see Fosta destroying all of the fence posts. This is a great way of preventing your heat shells from disappearing into
they have all the
abyss.
Chinese heavies, which deal with that, so definitely good to take those down in the IS-4 as well.
Nice shot from Fosta on the open into the side of Rude Awakening. Some free damage right there. That's everything 07 really is trying to look for.
And Warbender gets a nice shot into Muriel. FC Dynamo coming down the south, trying to find shots through the train cars on Muriel as well.
Very tricky right there. There's only a few choice angles that can be counted on to do anything. And actually right now, top tier is just gonna chill out. It seems. Take their defensive positions, not do a whole lot else.
07 just choosing to hold their ground right now. Andy Pounds in that IS-4 is over on the A6 corner, just looking down, trying to get some early spots. He's a little bit exposed in that position, but he should be able to back up in plenty of time.
Should be. Now, top tier, where will you go? And to answer that question, Rox, how do you feel about going to a listen-in with top tier?
Let's do it.
Let's go to a listen-in with top tier.
Moss is gonna be like back here, just controlling, covering you. Okay?
Go up the A line or
so Moss,
line?
just get to like here. Unless there's an E3 here, D3. There might be an E3 there.
Up
Okay.
the hill or
Just down the 8. Just down the 8 is fine.
You want me to get spotted right now, Rude, or just?
Yeah, try to get spotted. See what's going on there. Yep, the E3 is there. Miral, go on the inside. Go on the inside. Go on the inside. Oh, he fired? Go, Miral, go. He fired.
Oh, well.
Yep.
We still have like 5 seconds.
I'll make it.
50 Bs, set a trap, 50 Bs.
I got a
all out trap here, okay?
Yeah, let though.
Yeah, I'm watching live. You guys can drive out and shoot.
Like, set a trap so if they move their 50B in or something, you guys...
They're moving the 5A up. I'm gonna reload.
You want me to try to get a little cap pressure or just...
Did they let you exits?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get Miral.
Pulling back now, though.
Alright, let's get this Moss moved up. Let's get the 50Bs moved up. See if we could pick somebody really quick.
We can really go with the mouse. We can push it with the mouse if he goes in first.
Or the 50Bs. Just watch the 3 line. I'm gonna go on the inside of the courtyard here.
I didn't get
Miral, you might want to just get out actually, honestly. Or just sit there.
So if I leave this way, I get hit by the E4. If I leave this way,
I got lit right here.
Yeah, he's spotting you from right there.
I can try to bait out E3 shot, Miral, if you want.
Hold on, don't bait out the E3 shot yet.
I think we just need to go K-line Delta.
No, I'm gonna kill this. Together. I'm gonna start shooting this. Okay, see if you can bait out that E3 shot.
We need to poke together, Delph, okay? 3, 2, 1, no.
Did the E3 fire?
Fired it. No, not yet.
Oh, I didn't know you're poking wide.
He fired.
Permit.
I'm reloading.
50 Bs coming in.
I got him.
Alright, nice.
We can kill the 50.
I'm loading.
Yeah, let our 50Bs reload, guys.
I'm gonna start side scraping this corner.
Everything's fine. We have 5.5 minutes.
Lock compressor.
Mill, you're gonna help the 50Bs, okay?
50 Bs is poking.
Our mouse could just like YOLO in.
Yeah, Moss
take all the hits.
E3. Moss move towards E3. Oh shit.
And then the 50
Oh,
Bs
the fire.
Oh, we get aggressive with Hako. That's all it takes.
Yeah, Hako.
Can you just like YOLO in lop and eat all the hits?
No, you guys are fine. You might die.
No, lop goes in and takes the hits and we cross.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that works. Let's get this Jojo. Let's get Jojo in closer.
Bob, go.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm a mouse. I don't move that fast.
You need to go out wide so they all shoot you, not us.
I mean, they all have shots at me. They're
guys, no, we can't. If you guys go there, we're
yes, we can.
They're all saving their shots. They're not shooting.
They're all saving their shots.
Okay, now E3 fire.
Go. Delph, go. Kill him.
Wheezy fired.
Oh, E4 fired.
E4 just fired.
Want me to cross flip?
I got him.
You got him? Okay, nice.
E3's one shot.
I just hold here. It's GG.
Reloading.
Okay.
Type 5 fired.
Moss has flanks. Moss has full HP.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Moss. Go ahead, Moss. Moss is moving in, guys. Moss,
wait 20
Moss,
seconds.
kill that E3. Moss, kill that E3.
You're like full HP, you should just go on.
I got 20 seconds.
Use your HP.
Yeah, I can't really.
I'm loaded in 7. I can clip the E4 out.
Careful.
I can kill E3. I can kill E3 if he stays there. No.
E4 fired.
E3. Oh, I missed.
Yeah, nice. Get the E3. Nice. Alright. Keep moving up. These guys are they're all punched up.
I'm forcing.
Welcome, tell me when the I4 fires.
Jojo, go in.
Take a hit.
Jojo, go in, take a hit. Jojo, go in, take a hit.
Type 5 fired.
Okay.
This one?
Yep, middle. You can YOLO.
I'm clipping. I got my clipping on the I4.
Kill the type 5. Kill the type 4. No, I4.
I got it. I'll be loaded when I get there. I can clip out the E4.
What are they doing? This is embarrassing.
E4's track.
I got him. I bounced. Don't block left.
Yeah, I'm moving left.
I got the E4.
What is happening?
I got the IS.
What is happening?
I bounced.
What is happening?
All right, that was Rude Awakening calling right there. I'm really glad actually it went that way, because he is by far the most comprehensive battle caller I've ever heard in tanks. Like, he is just super clear most of the time.
Yep.
Like, and even that one was chaotic and crazy. You saw him taking suggestions from the team based on what they thought was appropriate. He gave him a little bit more room than a lot of people would, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, my nickname for him ever since the first season finals he showed up was the professor. He shows up, he has a bunch of kids around him.
Yeah.
You know, Top Tier is a fairly young team. And so, you know, the players, I remember one moment, they were all sitting in the hotel lobby, you know, basketball shorts and T-shirts and whatnot. They're here in California.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rude shows up just wearing, you know, sports jacket, has his luggage in, just looks like he's, you know, like some business guy, professor, like looks clean. Good. And just, you know, and just the way he paints that picture of what he wants his team to do. I want this to happen. It's very clear. There is no second guessing it. There is no, well, maybe he meant this or this. It's just, he tells you exactly what he wants to happen, and he relies on his players to go out there and do it.
And they did. This one, as an example, though, was a little messy. It was kind of funny at the end when everyone was like, what is happening? Why is this not done already? Why have we not won this, guys? Go and kill them. Because everyone was just kind of playing those individual games. They got caught up in the fact that they didn't want to die.
Yep, and Colsoid putting up 65 fantasy points, 3k damage on the losing team. Feels bad, man.
Feels bad.
Delph putting up 2,800, 4 kills, 82 fantasy points. Mariel, 2,600, 64 fantasy points. Lebtev in the mouse, 2,500, 32 fantasy points, not getting any kills. Jojo dropping off a little bit. He was the top fantasy point scorer for the team so far this season. I think that'll be passed pretty soon, especially with Delph and Mariel playing like they are playing tonight. On the second page here, most of 07. Nothing too noticeable on the second page. FC Dynamo in that 50B getting caught out fairly early on, only able to get 2 shots off down on that 0 line, or 1 line, excuse me.
Yes.
So nothing too surprising. And now we're going to be heading into Mines as what could be our last map.
All right, so looking at the lineups, IS-7, 2 Mouse, 5A, 2 Bat Chats, and a TVP. So relatively mixed lineup for Top Tier, but a little on the heavy side. And then 07, bringing what is starting to look like the typical lineup for the defensive side on Mines. This is going to look a lot like what you've already seen happen on Mines for the past 3 match days.
Yeah, but what'll be different is Top Tier and how they go about it. I'm actually really intrigued to see what Rude Awakening has to try to crack this defense. Top Tier, nice 7, a mouse, 2 mice, 5A, 2 Bat Chats, and a TVP. 07 on the other hand, a mouse, 5A, a PZ7, 2 E4s, a Bat Chat, and a T100. Now T100 is going out towards the 1 line early on. Warbander in that PZ7 is going to go to the same rock that we always see tanks at. Delph going towards the hill. Rude trying to open up shots here. Muriel hasn't spotted anyone, so I don't think that Rude will get any early shots off, though he is waiting for it.
I like Muriel whipping around a little bit, seeing if he can get some spotting. He is in a forward position, and Lop, Rude, and Oghako are not going to be able to get any shots in anything. All right, so
now Fosta does knock down the tree. He's going to poke around.
But I don't think anyone was looking. I don't think Muriel was watching at that moment. He was paying attention to his driving. Oh, he does notice that tree. He notices it this time. So Top Tier knows what's going on. Seeing shots go out towards that position. Foster knows how to play his Southwest Scout fairly well. He's done this literally for the past, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years.
And notice he keeps pushing his tank up along that little burn there and sticking just to getting his gun barrel over the top there, which is where the first point of spotting is from the end of that gun barrel. So able to do that and spot that one line and see if they're coming ahead of time. And now he does get spotted out in the open, but no one's... Oh, actually, it's real spotted. Foster never got lit.
No, Foster got lit. Foster's lit. Just might be a networking error that it didn't show up as lit. But Muriel saw him. And they're just going to chill out. They're just going to do their thing. West side, this is a little slower than we're used to.
Yeah, well, and we've seen a lot of teams trying to crack this defense by going for that 8-9 line. They seem to think that pushing that 8-9 line is the magical answer. But top tier trying something different and going towards this one line. Muriel, Leptev, and Jojo Jackie stacked up here on the one line with a mouse, a 5A, and a bat chat. Now, the mouse over on the one line is something we're actually not too unfamiliar with, really. We've seen it brought a couple of times, both first of the grand finals by Tornado Rocks, and then we've seen some of the NA teams do it recently. There's certain pathing you can take in that mouse to get up across against that H3 spot with only taking a shot or two at damage. And once you have a tank in there, you can kind of back off all the angles that have the reset shots on that 2-cap. So it can be a very strong position if you can do it, as Muriel does take a shot of damage from Foster.
Nice shot. That was Foster just backing up, letting it go. A little free damage. And top tier, what are you going to do? Here's the problem. Oh, Delth, where are you taking damage and why? Oh,
on the hill, I think he poked out a little bit too much, and the E4 snapped the shot off into his turret.
It looked, the way he's driving, it looked more like he fell off the hill. But
oh, did he do the climb?
He might have
climb on the back and do it wrong.
Maybe so. Or sometimes you just get a little too much speed and you lose control while sliding down.
Yeah, at D5, you have to be very delicate with it, because if you hit it too fast, you do kind of get off the ground a little bit, and it's a very long drop, and if you hit it at the wrong angle, you can lose a lot of HP unnecessarily.
Yeah. Well, I missed out on what happened, so rip. We'll see. Delth is on his way back to the hill. Lop is spotted in his mouse. That's huge, actually. That tells 07. Oh, sorry. On screen is there's Lop in the mouse. He's actually going to take damage. Because of that, Delth sees an opening. This is true. You recognize your friends are taking fire. Sometimes it's worth the risk to just cross an opening because someone who was probably watching your lane is while doing that.
So he went to all that effort to leave the hill, and then
he's
back up on the hill.
Ah, here we go, guys. We get to see this every few match days, but across the open, here comes the mouse.
However, forward. He is being punished very heavily from this. The E4 already got shot into him. That PZ7 got one.
Everyone else is going to be pushing along with this, though. And what you're going to be seeing in a moment is Colosoid, 497 there. First bit of damage is dealt, as Lop is now moving across the open. That'll take focus away from him, and Lop will now be able to get into more forward position. Jojo Jackie, though, needs to avoid going down if he can. We want to keep as many guns alive as possible so that this can just work. Because this is the difficult part of the fight. You need to not shirk away from taking the damage you're going to take one way or another. this is going to hurt. What's going to be important now is top tier effectively dealing damage and not taking enough in return.
It's kind of like getting a shot or giving blood. You know it's coming. You know that needle's going to prick you. You just need to suck it up and take it. The more you flinch, the worse it can get. And in this case, they're just bleeding so much HP, and they're struggling to gain the positions that they want, hesitating a little bit. And when you do that, when you second guess yourself, you slow down, you bleed more damage and or just die.
And there's Rude showing, leading by example. He peeks out, goes for the shot, and takes 3 shells, 609 damage total to his front. That attack didn't work, guys. Not this time. Wasted too much health, just too many tanks took too much damage. 07 was on point with the shots they put out. That's what happens here, guys. Top tier took a risk, and it did not work out. 07, got to give him credit on that defense for being able to do this. Now, yes, it may not be quite over yet, but I don't see a reason why 07 shouldn't be able to pull off the defense at this point. There's not a whole lot that should be able to happen. And, well, it's just a matter of time. Colosoid will go down. Okay. Just don't want to see too much passive 07 from now on. They just need to move out and get their kills.
Looks like at this point, top tier realizes it's over. They're just trying to take some time, figure out what they want to do on their
the thing
defense.
is, with that kill we just saw in Kolbosoid, and now Fosta
Look
is
at that damage that he's done already.
How much?
3,000 damage.
Really? Ooh. Wow, impressive. And there, Warbender taking a lot of damage. He is nearly dead.
He's going to pick up a kill, too.
Yep.
Picks up left F. Double kill, so the second kill of the game as well.
And Hako, all right, now, guys, I can't even keep up with this. Andy Pan's moving up towards that hill with Arclet. And where will they find a target? Delth is out in the open. Looks like he's hunting for a shot. Andy's looking like he's going to try to line something up. Fires and misses. Arclet goes up, looking for shots as well. Starts taking damage. A little crossfire there. Don't waste this, guys.
So on the season, Lions has a 77 defensive win rate right now. I kind of want to know which was the team that has won on offense so far. It's only got to be one or two teams throughout all the times we've seen Mines in the first opening 3 match days.
Most of the time, if you lose on Mines, it's your own fault.
Mines defense.
In general. But yeah, mostly.
Another tank's going to go down, and this is going to bring it back 4-1. So not a complete shutout for 07, but they have a long road to go. Their only option to get points is to win 3 more to try to force overtime. At least that way they get 1 point out of it, if not winning OT. But the whole 3 points is no longer an option for them.
Blam. FC Dynamo showing us why he's the best. Delth gets 1 kill. But he can't deal 5,268 damage in 2 minutes. Not possible.
So the teams that have won on Mines offense so far, Elevate, Eclipse, and F7. The only teams to win on offense so far this season on Mines.
Oh my.
And the hero jump.
All right, 07's going to put 1 on the board. Nicely done. So
that defense is a tough nut to crack.
And the way top tier went about with the attack was timid.
I hate it. I talk bad about it all the time and how much I hate passive defenses, but it just works so well.
Look, it's tried and true, and it's been the same. It's just about been the same layout for the past. How many years has it been? I'm losing track of, like, I don't want to estimate not enough time because it's been.
I remember
5-6
watching
years.
the last season of 742, so that would have been
it was a strat
4 years
before.
ago.
It's a strat before 742.
Well, no, I know, but so I remember specifically watching I think it was Navi versus, I want to say Unity, or maybe Mind Games back in the Russian League, where even though it was 742, Navi ended up breaking out the Lorraine Arty because they just had to try to break that defense in the south end, and they were trying everything to do it, and they just couldn't. Now, the map did get opened up a bit with that zero-line boost, but with the recent changes, it's gone back to being a very defensively sided map.
The zero-line boost didn't change enough effectively to actually open up new lanes of attack. All it did was add kind of like a strange spotting option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could go and do stuff.
Well, the zero-line, what it did is it just made it so they had to break turrets. And look at all these fantasy points. Delph, 4K damage on the losing team, 2 kills, 113 fantasy points. I mean, I said it earlier, but that is really, it feels bad, man. No. Looking at FC Dynamo, 3,600, 3 kills, 67 fantasy points. Fosta, 3K, 2 kills, 128 fantasy points. Not bad there. We were criticizing his play a little bit earlier, putting some questions about it, but that is impressive.
And
Paco, 24, kind of drops off after that. Second page, as usual, nothing too out of the ordinary. A lot of players from top tier really struggling to get some damage off, but the way that round went, it's not too surprising. They just paid such a toll on that opening push that bled a lot of HP, couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem I saw as well. Just a lot of shots not really connecting, or just altogether top tier not having the targets they needed to. But that one I feel like is pretty easy to write off as well. Yes, of course they lost. But now we're going to switch sides, and top tier is going to have their chance to defend on Mines. If they win this one, they take it all away. If they lose here, then we move on to Ghost Town, where then 07 has to win 2 in a row on Ghost Town to take this to a tiebreaker.
Yep, and well, right now for that to be a thing, 07 have to do something only 3 other teams have done in the league. You know, 3 out of 8 teams have won on offense. So obviously, some of these teams still struggling to figure it out. And
I don't think that top tier's going to let this go on defense. I don't know how you could. Everyone in the league has the same strat for defense. Everyone has the same lineup. It's not exactly the same tanks, but the same general positions. There's no huge innovation even possible. Like this, to stress how much of how the odds are against 07 right now.
Yeah, now
they're stacked.
Now, something to think about. We were kind of talking earlier on Himmelsdorf, for example. Teal Team 6 went for that push across the A line and went in there because the meta had shifted away from that older strat. Everyone had gotten used to certain defenses being certain ways and things not being a thing. If this trend keeps up, it should open up different lanes for the defense, different options, because they can start to rely on their opponent doing certain things, trying to break this defense. And if they change it up just right, they can start to catch people out. So even though the standard defense is strong, maybe we'll start seeing people kind of change the meta a little bit, or counter, you know, do a hard meta counter, essentially.
The problem with mines over the history is that there have been hard meta counters, meaning hard counters to the strategies that are currently deployed, or strategies made in light of only everything that is currently relevant as far as what people go for. But if you are a caller or a player or a person on either of these teams who's been around for the past few years, more than 3, you're familiar with the fact that there's so many different options for an attacker that have been used, and so many of them have such a low success chance that really anything can happen. They could do anything, and it doesn't matter, because all it's going to turn into is engagement on the crossfire, and you just follow the same basic principles of the defense here, and you should win. As long as you follow those principles of it, of adjusting to account for where they're attacking and to just crossfire and outdamage your opponent, if you do that, you're fine. If you don't, it doesn't matter what they did, you're going to lose.
Yep, and now the lineup's coming in here. They're just going to take the hill with these 2 Batchets for 07, also coming in with a TVP, 3 5As and a mouse. Top tier, 2 mice, an i7, 2 E4s, Batchet, and a T100.
No spotting yet. 07 doesn't know a thing. They don't know where a single tank is. And they're looking for a jump, but it doesn't look like there's going to be one. Colossoid's going to back off. And Andy Penn's Makos, looks like Orklit, are all going for something possibly low ground.
Now, we saw this the other day where 07 tried to turn one of their mice sideways on cap, shove a tank behind it, and start the cap pressure from that way. However, it didn't work. And it looks like they're already setting up, trying to do something similar. Arklet down here in the low ground with the mouse. Mako's pushing out wide. Now, what he doesn't know is Mariel is extremely aggressive on that one line, and the Batchet at Delth rotated out already, and so they don't know that Makos is here. So if Mariel's not careful, he could get caught out of position pretty easily.
That he could. And yeah, Mariel's going to scout out a little bit. He's quite active on the west side. We'll see if he sees anything in a moment, but it looks like there's going to be some movement from 07 on the water side, and they're barely going to be able to avoid getting spotted by him. And there we go. First spots coming up right now is Mariel. Spots Arklet moving towards the cap. That's the big tell. Top tier now knows what exactly is going on.
All right, while this attack happens, let's go ahead and listen to 07's comms and see how they want this to play out.
Nice shots.
Good. That's actually huge because it limits his ability to poke and reset. Yeah, you can go a little steeper. You can go a little steeper. Yeah, there you go. And keep looking at the mouse. Don't go further up. Don't go further up. You want to back up more.
No,
you want to back up more. No, if you back up more, it gives me more cover.
Dive that. Here we go.
Let's go. Kill the A7. Kill the A7.
Kill I7.
That's good, Arklet.
Make sure they can't push out without bleeding. Stay safe from Zid. Stay safe from Zid.
I think 24 shot.
Fucking missed the T100.
Loading.
Get your reloads. Get your reloads. They can't push with the mouse. They have to push on 2 cap now. Make us just control.
Not really. They have the T100.
That rock.
And the mouse.
Something else is shooting me from there.
They have 2 tanks.
It's a Batchet. Batchet is shooting me.
Alright. Foster, are you still safe? Are you still safe?
I'm safe, sort of, yeah. Makos, you gotta come down further.
Let's get bats out here. Let's get at least one bat out.
I need some spot with you on their T100, Makos.
Okay, I'm coming.
They have to push out around. They have to push out around. They're not going to make this play again through the middle, so we need tanks out here right now.
E4 is still here. You see I spotted E4.
We need one medium to cover this, because Batchat might gonna cross. Batchat, скорее всего, попробует переехать по линии.
So should I just hold the top of the rock for the T100?
Just aim. They have to roll around. They have to roll around.
Me with the mouse.
Are they going to be able to get that consistently without bleeding?
Foster, don't peek, there is a four.
Их четвертый там дальше стоит. Аккуратно.
I got lit.
I think it's totally possible to cross one tank to kill T100.
They still have the C4 is might look.
We need to bait a shot out like with Foster somehow before we do that. Or send two.
Shot, yeah.
Send the other bat. Send the other bat. We'll make this with two bats, okay? Go.
Два бата кольцо. Поедь, короче, к.
Can I bait?
No, wait.
No, not yet.
We have 6 minutes. Don't take damage, Foster. We have 6 minutes. Good. You hit good.
Mouse. Okay, nice.
Okay, 6 minutes is a long time. Colosoid, make this push with FC.
Едьте два. Ну, сейчас, короче, задача в том, чтобы этот Е4 выстрелить, после этого они это самое.
Guys, we're trading HE for pens. This is good. Wait for Colosoid.
This mouse can push up the hill, I guess.
I'm watching that.
Okay, sure, dude.
You won't stop it, though. I mean, you can hit it, but...
We'll do 2K on it for one shot on Moorbander. And they don't know our bats are gone yet.
I haven't spotted him. Oh, he's here, okay.
Два бата пушим или Валик с нами?
Сейчас, подожди, они должны...
Зеха принимает удар от Е4, и вы едете. Окей,
надо вызвать, чтобы здесь осталось, типа, что...
Мой бейт?
Wizzy has to stay.
Готовьте, едьте. Take a shot, Foster, take a shot, they're going.
All right, now we know what the plan is here for 07. Let's see if they can make it work. The Batchats are going to push. They're trying to bait the shots to the WZ. Some big shots going out. Dynamo gets hit hard, but Colsoid should get across just fine. Mariel is a one-shot, and they need to pick him up. They do spot him, but FC Dynamo can't be the one that peeks around.
Oh, Mariel, they were facing the same way, and Mariel is able to get out safely just enough.
And Warbander from the hill picks up the angle, and this is going to leave 07 in a decent position. It's not great, but it's better than we've seen out of most offenses on this map so far, as Leptev is the next one being focused out. He's in a vulnerable spot, bouncing some of the heat shells from the Batchats.
FC Dynamo with this last shell gets the kill. And same with Colosoid, both are out of ammo on reload. Doesn't look like Top Tier is going to be able to aggress back onto this and make anything of that reload time, that vulnerability.
22 seconds on the cap. Top Tier need to find a reset before they can worry about anything else. Even with the Batchats reloading in the south, they're not in position to do this. It's all down to Rude Awakening and Delph to try to find the reset angle.
Doesn't look like
8
much
seconds,
is gonna happen.
Maybe an HE shell coming out here at the last second. 3 seconds, Exit's going over trying to find the lights, but it's not going to happen. That is going to be a cap out for 07, pulling out an unlikely victory.
And there we go. In game, we have to wait for that timer, 59 seconds on it, and then we come out of game. There's always the chance. There's always a chance that something can extend that. And there we go. Nice. 07 picking up another kill.
07 breaking out all the stops.
Yeah, that kind of strategy really says that you're willing to take a huge risk, because once dedicated to the west side cap as the attacker, you are pretty much stuck there.
Yeah, you're not leaving.
Yeah,
you're not leaving.
If you're leaving, it's because you really messed up, like bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really abandon it once you put the mouse on cap, in my opinion. There's 2 points of no return: the mouse on cap or pushing anything past that G1 gap. The second something goes down into the south, you're there. Yeah. It is this works.
Or yeah.
Really, that's what it comes down to. And FC Dynamo took one big shot from the E4, but that was really about it. He got across, both of them got across unscathed. And the other thing, a little subtle thing we didn't talk about in game, but the positioning of the mediums on the hill was such that they were not being proxlet. So it made Top Tier want to second guess things, and Rude took the gamble of, I think they've given up the hill. We can take the hill, and he had Akako take it. And then 07 just went, surprise! We were just sitting at spots where you couldn't find us because they didn't have the zero line climb. They couldn't spot the hill from the zero line, and they couldn't spot it from right next to the hill. So all of a sudden you have 3 tanks there, and that's on Hako getting caught out. The second that was done, this was in favor of 07, and look at all the damage done in here. FC Dynamo, 2,762 fantasy points, which really isn't bad considering that was a cap out at the end of the day.
This is true. Not bad at all. And with that, look, Lop putting up 2K along with Rude. Look at how top-heavy the damage is for top tier. 3 of the members getting the vast majority of that damage, and then you go look at the second page of the post-battle stats, you see Zitzmariel and Hako way down at the bottom. 3 tanks that just didn't get
and poor Hako just trying to take the hill. They thought they had the hill for free, and surprise, nope.
Lots of nope. Lots and lots of nope. Well, we are about to see what's going to happen as we move on to Ghost Town, where this is the chance for top tier to close it out. 1 win will finish the match for them. 07 must continue to win in order to make anything happen. But looking at the tank lineups, Rocks, what do you think?
Top tier, 113, 250Bs, 2 mice, a 5A, and a bat chat. On defense, says flex defense, probably a 1-2 line play would be my guess. Meanwhile, 07, 2 mice, T57, 3 5As, and a bat chat on offense. All those 5As, the 57 says some sort of play on the 1 cap, most likely. T57 is working the DA corner. Mice just plugging the gap and putting 5As on cap. But we'll have to see what they end up doing. And looks like my prediction about the 1-2 line lay from top tier is already wrong. However, 07 also opting to go for that north cap for sure. Colsloyd making the open scout run in the south. That's about it. And Jojo Jackie hasn't left spawn, so maybe a DC call here?
Yeah, it looks like a DC call, and Joe Jackie doesn't look like he was able to load into the game, so we're just going to back on out of this one. Maybe? Yeah, looks like we're going to call it DC and back on out. Joe Jackie does get back in, so we'll be able to just get this one rolling in just a second. So they'll take the same lineups, same players, same everything. And it, yep, does look like everyone decided to leave. So we'll be getting that one figured out in just a moment. Once that's done, we'll be back into battle and we'll be able to go forward. So I want to hear your thoughts on that opener then. So what were your thoughts initially looking at the battle, looking at the way everyone's moving? What was...
Rude and top tier have a more flexible lineup for defense, not as heavy as we've seen out of some teams like Elevate. So they're relying more on map coverage and flexing around to really box the other team in, is the way it speaks to me.
Okay.
And then the opening lineup there out of 07 seems a bit, I don't want to say one-dimensional, because they could go for that south cap, but more often than not with that sort of lineup, it kind of speaks to me like it's going to be some sort of north pressure. Whether it's 3 on cap and then try to catch them out when they push in. Because you have the 2 mice to watch that middle diagonal, I think that's about C6, C7 diagonal courtyard right there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then they have the 57 to cover them, and those 2 mice can really block that lane pretty effectively, so they can stop that angle. And then you have 3 5As on cap and the bat chat out on the 0 line. It's kind of cookie cutter, but it's pretty strong typically if you execute it right.
So that's pretty much what it is. Just a pretty cookie cutter strat, nothing too special you're expecting, and just it's going to come down to those that individual play and whether or not one team flexes a little bit faster or more effectively than the other. We know those 7's having trouble right now with the language barrier, having to have English speakers and Russian speakers who don't necessarily cross over on the same team. Because of that, we can expect 07 to have a slightly slower reaction at times when we'll have English players trying to tell Russian players that I need them to flex here or there and the other way around. And that's causing problems for 07. I think that'll cause problems here. I think top tier is looking quite good to take a brawl, take a surprise attack, and probably come out ahead. But 07 could get by on some of their cheeky strats, as you'd like to call them.
Yeah, what I would like to see a little bit more often than not on this map is it just seems like a lot of teams decide, all right, this is the cap we're going for. We're going to sit here, we're going to force the cap pressure and just make them come to us and hope this works, just the raw cap pressure. For a while, we saw something that they've kind of gone away from, which is baiting one cap, getting them to respawn, and then reappearing on another bait and switch type strats.
Well, that hasn't actually had a history of working out that well. You know, it's not like that's a strategy that always seems to pay off. It really just seems to be everyone dancing around and just an excuse for both teams to kind of.
It's not so much that I expect the bait to work in terms of get the cap, but be able to move the other team around where you can do damage when they rotate. Very similar to, say, Himmelsdorf defense, for example. Make them move between the two caps, find the ways to get the damage in that process. Now, it hasn't always worked a whole lot, but most offenses on this map really haven't. So now it's a little bit easier to attack on this map than Mines. As I say, that is 07 pick up the last win on attack on Mines, but you know, it's possible. But on here, I feel like this is still pretty defensively sided, and I think that there are several ways you could go about the offense that you could make it work a little bit, that are a little bit more fluid than these one-dimensional strats that we've been seeing nowadays teams.
I do tend to agree that the fluidity is what you want. Be like water.
Yeah, exactly. You know, kind of flex around your opponent, put them into spots where you want them, and shape to them. And I feel we just don't see that enough, at least in NA.
Yeah, it's a hard skill to cultivate, and it generally once achieved, it's very actually hard to see it happen because it doesn't appear as though there's any effort being utilized in order to gain position or do anything. It starts to just look like things are easy. And then you start getting teams like Elevate and Fulcrum and Eclipse coming out. Those guys know how to flow.
Exactly. And now we're into battle number 7 here. Remember, there are no lineup changes when a disconnect is called, so they're right back in. Everyone has littered in this time, it looks like, so we should be good.
JoJo's moving. You go, JoJo.
JoJo really stepped up when he was called upon from the bench so far this season, but tonight he's been struggling to shine a little bit.
It's okay. He's still a hero in all of our hearts. Gonna jump over to Muriel now. Muriel is taking an open scout run against Colosoid. They said, hey, how you doing? And decided maybe next time. While it does look like both teams are about to meet up and fight in West. Andy. Andy, why? Andy takes a lot of damage getting into his position. Same with Fosta. Fosta is getting focused out. 50 Bs on him. Shifting fire over to Arklet. And now you have a few tanks that are all peppered down a little bit on the #1 cap in the north. FC Dynamo, take a look at that T-57. He's going to move up. This is called screening the cap. Instead of being behind the cap, firing over it at opponents that peek out, move a little bit further forward. Try and make it really difficult for your opponent to get into the engagement they want to, especially when it's getting a little difficult. Now, Mouse, Warbender, and Makos, along with Colosoid, are going to be playing the south flank. They'll need to be pressuring top tier.
10 seconds on cap. They need to find a reset. Track comes out. They get one minor reset, but it's not the full one that they need. FC Dynamo trying to get off what damage he can in this T-57, but he's going to get focused out.
Forward is the best direction right now for top tier. They are surrounded. They need to recognize that it's forward, get your kills, and then you can focus on those tanks moving up behind you, but you do not want to get caught between them, because that's all guns on the same targets. Nicely played. Top tier's going to possibly lose Oghako, but in exchange, they will be picking up 3 tanks from 07.
And not losing much in return outside of maybe Oghako and that Mouse, but Colosoid is out, so it's just down to Makos to pick up that kill. And he does.
As he should. All right, Mouse Warbender is now all alone with no one here beside him. And he will be going down shortly. Delph starts unloading. Nicely done. Makos is next. And there we go. Top tier staying together, flowing like water, and taking control, dictating the pace. That's what we want to see. He said 8% before this match. Rude said 8% of a possible 100% of a quality performance. And this is what we got. This is way better than 8%. Rude's being modest.
Mines was shaky, to say the least, but the rest of the maps have seemed like they had a pretty good idea of what they wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one map that you need to work on. That's something that you can accomplish before next Tuesday.
And with the new map picking format, having a deep map pool is vitally important, because each team only gets 1 ban before a map is selected. That means you can only count on 1 map being banned out. You have to be able to play, you know, the other 7. So if you have one consistent ban, you have to be able to play their 7. As before, if you had 2 solid bans, you only had to have 6 in your map pool. So that extra map means you have to spend a little bit more time practicing, working on strats, and Mines is a tough nut to crack, but 07 definitely seemed to have, their number on that one.
Yeah, I have to give it to 07. We didn't want to underestimate them. I thought it would be kind of a 4-5 scoreline where you would have Top Tier coming out ahead, but 07 at least, showing us something. And that's what I was waiting for to see, Rox, was to see something like Mines, a map where 07 really does know how to play one of the sides. But let's go ahead and actually take a moment and review this entire series. We had a beautiful start with Top Tier bringing a fun brawl to proc, and then following that one up, we went over to Himmelsdorf, where Top Tier seemed to get frustrated at their own inability to win faster. And then finally onto Mines, where, well, Top Tier...
That sums up Top Tier on Mines.
Yep, right there. Picture worth 3,000 words.
I gotta say, I love this defense out of Top Tier. They understood what their opponent was going to do. They had them read every step of the way. 50B setting up for the early damage on the cross. They got a good almost 2,000 damage off on that cross. The way they flexed around, they responded. They took the overmatches. Looking at the damages here for the match, Colsoid and Mako's doing what they could for 07. Pretty solid stuff there. Delth, Rude, Jojo, Luptev, and didn't catch the last name there.
That's okay,
Mariel. Damage.
Everyone else, Arca, Orbiter, Dynamo, and Antipans, everyone else was way too low on the damage.
Yeah, even Mariel doing 2K, not bad there. Looking at the total for the series, Delph, welcome back to the Gold League. 465 fantasy points on the night, 19,000 damage. Luptev, also a respectable 336. Colsoid has been a pretty consistent performer, 407, despite the language barriers, 320 fantasy points. Drops off Akako, 260. Not spectacular, but all right. Mariel, for the amount of damage he did, look at that, 400 fantasy points right there. 1,100 damage, 7 kills, not bad at all.
Rounding up, I see it.
Yeah, we had a few massive games early on, so even though he dropped off earlier, I think that the early couple of games, especially in Pro, really put him in a good position.
All right, that sounds like we actually have Rude Awakening ready for the interview, so we're going to be joined by the captain of Top Tier. Sir, welcome back and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of tough fights there. Yeah.
So we heard you say 8% at the beginning of this. You said you guys were about 8%. After those wins, what do you think now? Are you guys really at 8%?
Yeah, we're not there yet. 8%, 7% now maybe. Mines was just a little bit disorganized. Bad call on attack, some bad decision making on defense. Also, our Himmel's defense was just a mess. I don't know how we won that one. So
it was quite fun, at least. And then your attack. Yep. We actually listened to your comms for just about your entire attack of on Himmelsdorf, and that was phenomenal as always. Okay. Yeah, Rude, you're always, of course, incredibly clear and concise and easy to understand. It seemed like you guys were frustrated at something towards the end. Was that because you guys weren't winning fast enough?
No, on attack, it was weird because they kind of all moved into like one square.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was just like, it's almost an auto win. So it was just slow. Like, we executed it slowly, and the 1-2 line did a really good job. But at the end of the day, I think that it could have been much better. It could have been done much better.
That sounds like you, Rude. Every single time we hear you, anything that you guys do, you're always pushing them. It seems like your style, though, that no matter what your team does, you're never going to sit back and say, we've done well enough. It seems like you're always going to be pushing them to go to that next level. What is it?
Well, I just want the players to constantly improve on a daily basis. Like, today, we got a lot of players back, and, Delph played well, I think.
Yeah.
Loptev played pretty well. Exits played well, but also Exits kind of had to move in a lot of the times when he was the aggressor a lot of the times. So maybe that's why his stats didn't show up in the category as much. But overall, comms were better. We played better today, but it's not it's not there yet, not even close. Like it's
so we'll have to wait and
bad.
see what you guys really have in store. Okay, I feel you.
So
I feel you, Rude.
The one last question I wanted to sneak in there. Me and Randall for a little bit talked about mines and kind of the meta and how it's evolving. Every team seems to have this cookie-cutter defense on mines, yet everyone seems to kind of struggle breaking it. What's your kind of take on the defense? Do you think there are some weaknesses you guys can potentially exploit?
So like our defense or breaking a defense?
Just breaking the generic defense we see right now with the PZ7 at the rock, the E4s in the back, the Type 5 under the hill. It's pretty much the same defense we've seen night in and night out. Do you see some huge flaws in it?
I mean, obviously there's no huge flaws, otherwise it wouldn't be being played. But like, there's flaws in it, but the thing is they're really hard to exploit, and the timing has to be like immaculate to really kind of exploit it. The way people really break the PZ7 camp is getting a 5A or 113 down the 1-2. Once you get the 113 or 5A down the 1-2, and there isn't a T100 harassing it, so basically you have to clear the 1-2, and then that strat falls apart real quick, real fast. The trick is getting guys there safely and recognizing that the best opportunity is not to go on the 1-2, or let's say you have really two options: either go on the east side on the 8-9 or go on the 1-2. But if the PZ7 is there and they have guys on the 1-2, then and you think you can overmatch it and win it, then you go 1-2. But if you think that you can't, then you have to go 8-9 and keep people on the hill, basically.
All right, Rude, it's a pleasure talking to you as always. Any final thoughts for your fans out there?
Yeah, just watch out. Like, you know, we're back, we're practicing, and hopefully we'll be performing a lot better than we have been in the last few weeks, including today.
All right. Well, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Rude.
Yep, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the standings as they sit right now with a whole match night